What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. And today we're talking Samaritan, starring Sylvester Stallone. Man, let me give y'all a very brief synopsis from the IMDb. A young boy learns that a superhero who's thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may in fact still be around. We're going to give you our spoiler-free review, and then we're going to jump into our deep dive. Spoiler-free. Can I go first?
Might as well. I'll go second.
This movie, it felt like this movie was made by people who aren't superhero fans.
So fair.
But get the bullet points. Like they understand the big plot points. So it felt like a 90s superhero movie, like early 90s. It felt like Steel.
Damn it.
It felt like Steel.
That's my recommendation list.
Oh, dude.
Wow, well, just jumped the gun on that. So for those of you who listen to this review and have no idea what he's talking about because you're only on YouTube, Chris does a recommendations list, and if you'd like to hear that, check us out on our podcast.
Check out the podcast. But it felt like those movies like Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, like you guys have, in general, an idea of the character, and you kind of just did your own cliche thing. So it was very cliche, very formulaic. The beats were there. Just, I felt like there was no love for the actual superhero content that it should have been.
All right, Chris.
Lawrence, I had this great, witty thing to say. This movie would have been great if it was 1992.
Well, why don't you just say it and pretend like he didn't say anything and just pretend like you're going first.
Okay, I'm going to deliver it. So let me go first. If this was 1992, this movie would have been awesome, but it's not. So it is what it is.
Yeah, what a great point.
I think we're on the same page.
We are on the same page.
Clearly.
Man.
I would call this movie predictable at best. I pretty much, and Rich and I were talking the other day. I think we were all talking the other day. And you can predict this movie within the first 20 minutes, beat for beat, how it's going to play out for the next hour after that 20 minutes. And I did. And that was my experience. Predictable at best.
Yes, it was predictable. Like Jack just said, I definitely, the first 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I know what's happening here. I know what's going to happen. And the kid, even though I love him in Euphoria,
Yeah,
I don't like him here.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's pretty much it. No spoilers. That's it. That's all I got for it.
Well,
that's it.
Let's jump in, baby. Let's jump in. So we get into this crazy intro, which actually looks pretty dope. It's animated, and it kind of tells you the story of these two twin brothers who have powers. And honestly, this is where I figured out the twist. When they said two twin brothers, both have superpowers. One's good, one's bad, and one dies. I was like, oh, I figured it out in the first 30 seconds, which is fine. So then,
big brain on this guy.
Dude.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, they set it up. When they make it a point, they look exactly the same. They both have powers. One's evil, one's good, and they both die. It's like, come on. If you didn't make him the twist, I'd be like, what movie are you doing? So then, basically, there's a big fight in like a power plant reactor, whatever, and we believe that Samaritan died. They both died. Samaritan and Nemesis. One brother became Samaritan. One brother became Nemesis. Guys, right now I'm digging the movie. I'm cool with this so far. I'm like, okay, let's see where it goes. I like the city. I like that it kind of feels Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit. I don't know where, but it has texture, Jack. The city has texture.
Yeah. And I had trouble after the VO start with the film, though, if I'm being honest.
Oh, speak on it.
No, I'll skip it. Go ahead.
Speak on it.
Recap. That VO was so lame, and I couldn't decide whether I thought it was the kid. And I think he's incredible in Euphoria also. And I really agree that he should be playing a Robin in the next Batman movie.
Please make this kid Robin.
And honestly, I kind of still feel that way. He has some really good moments in this. And him on the roof doing the shadow boxing, like, kid's got moves.
Yeah, he's a boxer.
But I couldn't decide if it was. That's what I mean. Yeah, kid's got moves. So, but I couldn't decide whether I thought it was the delivery of the VO or just the writing of the VO.
Honestly,
is like even the bad CGI.
I think
like
the
everything
writing,
right off the top.
Hold on, real quick. For Chris looks confused. What does VO mean? For Chris.
Chris. Yeah, sorry. That's good. So in the first 2 minutes of the movie, you had a voiceover that recapped. So VO's the voiceover.
It's a voiceover, Chris. Okay.
Oh, thanks for that, Rich. I
Right.
appreciate
You got
it.
that? Chris?
Keep going.
Thanks.
Got it.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
All right, so it really kind of set the movie up. That put me was apprehensive right at the top. Actually,
I was all right with a part of me going in. I love Stallone, but I know I have a certain expectation level with him in a movie like this, so I was all right with it. I think it was the writing, to be honest with you.
It was the writing.
The writing.
Yeah, I was excited for this movie, man.
Even by Stallone, by measuring on a Stallone meter, he felt wooden and phoned in for his performance.
It felt like they took the best monologues. It was like they took the best monologues from Rocky and tried to superimpose them in here. Or his monologue, he's got some monologue gems and even Rambo, and they try to wedge those in this film where he says the same thing to the kid, his antidotes.
I don't think he was wooden. Okay. The biggest problem with this movie is that they made the whole movie about the twist, right?
But
so
if
wait, hold on, Jack. Hold on one second. Let me finish my thought. They made the whole movie about the twist. So when you make a whole movie about a twist, you're doing everything in your power not to give it away. So you're not going to have your lead actor show too much vulnerability because you don't want to know that he's actually tortured because he's the bad guy. And by making it all about a twist that we've all figured out, we're not actually seeing a human being. We're not actually seeing this guy who's responsible for his brother's death, who was a bad guy, who sees a city that's around him falling apart and it's his fault. And he's dealing with that. We're not actually getting a chance to go inside the guy because they have to save it for the twist. Now,
but they don't save it for the twist either.
Yeah,
they do.
If you didn't pick, I mean, listen, you picked it up in the first 30 seconds of the movie. And if you didn't pick it up by then, you probably picked it up in the first 20 minutes of the movie where you see him actually beating the hell out of children
right.
in the most violent way. And you're like, this guy's not an ex-hero. This was clearly, I mean, it's so, there's just no way to miss it at that point.
Right.
No, even ex-Superman who's gone overboard isn't going to violently abuse children.
So
they weren't
here's my
children.
biggest,
They weren't children.
Yo, they were teenagers.
They were teens. But here's my biggest problem. Because they're so
I
focused
don't know
on the
what
twist,
they were. They were kind of weird.
They were not
looked
teens. They
weird.
were
I don't know.
20-ish.
I don't know, because
but they were
that
still
Takashi
young.
69 one was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
Young.
he was young. But my biggest problem is because they're so focused on the twist, the rules they set just didn't matter. So I want to jump ahead, but
also, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead because he's a bioreactor that showed up twice, but it should have showed up way more times. It did, it was just inconsistent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
They
power
needed
comes
the
from him,
kid to save him at the end.
Yeah, but why are they just chilling in a burning building, just having a conversation in a burning building? That's
Yo,
neither here nor
here's
there.
Here's another question, I'm begging anyone to answer this. And this is when a script lies. His body was covered in burn marks, right?
Yes.
Maybe.
Except for we saw the flashback with him and his brother, and this guy was never near the flames. He was fully clothed and walked away from the whole event. His brother fell into the flames. So why is his body covered in burn marks?
Well, I mean,
Reasons?
Mm-hmm.
the whole place went on fire. So
But we saw him a superhero who can jump from building to building perfectly fine by the end of the film.
Jack,
he
that
was
wasn't
not burned up.
That wasn't my biggest issue with this movie.
It should have been. It should have been.
Can we
because
talk
it's-
about how the superpowers turned into magic and he imbued hatred into a hammer?
Yeah, that was odd.
So
too.
Yeah, and what's up
he
with the
has an
hammer glowing?
interesting
Is
power
it power
set.
the hammer?
His
He
blood
has
went
a
in the
hammer.
hammer.
Why that?
Because the guy who took
Because
he
reasons.
put his hatred into it. Remember, he put his hatred into the hammer,
I know
and that's
how
why
that
the guy
happens
who
sometimes.
took the hammer was able to
was able
that
to
guy
hurt him
just-
with it.
Well, he was able to blow a whole building up just by flicking the hammer. Anyone who held the hammer could have powers.
So when you look at this movie, you see a bunch of superhero points. I see them see their plot points on a bulletin board. And it's like, if they just focused on the character and was like, forget the twist, start out with us knowing who he is and dealing with the fact that he is the bad guy and maybe he could be good, and have the kid figure out he's Nemesis halfway through and say, but you can change. Then we're dealing with the story here and not just this robot walking around hoping that we don't get it. But it's like, of course we got it, because ultimately your twist didn't matter. Your twist
Didn't matter.
Unbreakable. The whole time we knew that he was what Sam Jackson said Bruce Willis was. And
There are certain movies that have come out that have made audience members smarter and sharper. And the second Fight Club hit the market in the 90s, anyone who's trying to pull a twist off just have to really up their game. And this movie did not.
Let me ask you
they
a
didn't
question.
need to do a twist. It would have been better without it.
Once he revealed the twist in the end, we're jumping all over the place, but this movie's a mess anyway, so it doesn't matter. Once he revealed the twist at the end, that's when he just started killing people. Like, he went from just smacking people around to oh no, I'm really Nemesis. I'm a bad guy. Now I'm going to start killing because now you know I'm bad. Like, what the hell is going on? There's no rules,
But he was
no
kind of,
nothing.
actually he was, wait, that's not true. He was kind of murking people. When the five guys were following him in the homeless encampment,
Yeah.
he pretty much killed all those guys too.
He
Also didn't make sense.
in the warehouse, he didn't have to hide. So he didn't have to worry about being discreet. That's why you got him ruthless. That part for me tracks. He didn't want to draw
Also, he
attention
had his
before.
hammer back for the first time, and I was wondering if there should have been
You should have
that
used it more.
Well, that anger, yes, but also all that stuff that he built into the hammer imbues him once he picks it back up again.
I don't know if the hammer didn't empower him. He empowered the hammer.
But the hammer empowered the other guy.
No, the hammer was
It
just
did.
powerful. He was able to wield
fair.
it, but it didn't give
Fairish.
him power.
But why would a guy want a hammer instead of a gun?
Why would guys
just
with guns
didn't make
keep
no
shooting him knowing that it doesn't work?
Why
Doesn't make any sense. And why, when he got hit by a car, he went nuclear,
Thank you, Jack.
Well-
Thank you, Jack. Exactly.
but not by a dozen bullets?
This guy's freaking taking rounds left and
it
right.
This
didn't make
movie did
sense
not
at all.
follow its own rules that it set up.
It was all over the place. It was like I wasn't sure if he was bulletproof or the bullets were passing through him. I didn't know what was going on.
We saw bullets go through his body.
He
one
was
went through his
healing.
shoulder.
It was just
Maybe
It
the
was
car
just
was
a lot.
it was blunt force trauma. Like it was like a bomb going off, but he can take. Listen, but the thing of this movie isn't really about the superhero part of it. The movie is really about a boy.
How it doesn't
and
make
this guy.
sense.
Well, no, it's about this young kid who's on his own and he meets a sort of father figure. He doesn't have a father. We've seen this a million times. That's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to fight. I'm going to teach you to stand up for yourself.
But
I'm
they
gonna
don't
give
do
you
that
confidence.
either.
Nah, they don't.
No, it's just
We-
They
it's-
shadow
it's-
box
it's-
once.
I was waiting for a montage.
And he
That's
does. He doesn't even show the kid how to fight. He just lets the kid throw some punches, hurt his hand, and then they go eat ice cream.
See,
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's the problem. A kid who knows how to fight but won't fight, we got to unpack that. It's like he has no confidence and he's scared, but he knows how to fight. Why won't he throw a punch? There's so much character and depth within that question that they
Made even less sense.
skim over
Well, it
everything.
no, I'm sorry. To me, it felt like this is what happened. The script needed a kid who didn't know how to fight and was asking for help because he lives in a dangerous, hostile environment. But they got an actor who was sick at fighting, and they wanted to showcase that.
So then make it work
they
for the
blended
story.
the
So
two.
you make it work for the story. Why is this kid who's capable afraid? Deal with
I
the
agree.
fear.
I agree, but whoa, Doomsday down.
Is he falling apart?
Doomsday hated it too.
Are his ankles good?
There's a really
Whoa.
There's a really good movie. There's a really good movie in this movie that is barely touched. There's a really good movie here about a retired supervillain who is dealing with the fact that he's responsible for his brother's death, and he will pick up his own brother's helmet and do good. Like, there is a good movie in this movie.
I agree.
That's not what he did, though. That's not even
No.
close
No,
to
that's
what he did.
the movie that
No,
we were
this is
supposed
better
to watch.
movie.
But that's not
Lawrence-
what we watched. Okay, let's
Lawrence
talk
is
about what
telling
we
you-
watch, though. All right, we watched.
there you go.
We watched this superhero, this supervillain, walk around and act like he didn't do anything and just try to live a normal life. And it was duty. It was duty. All right. Let's just be for real with this. You're trying to find the inner greatness of it and what it could have been, but that's not what it is.
I'm not trying to find the inner greatness. I'm just saying that when we look at those movies in the 90s, they're bad because there weren't fans involved. And you can look at those movies back in the day and go, man, if you had a Kevin Feige involved, that's how you turned the Punisher into John Bernthal's Punisher. The beats are the same. You just have no one that they have the grace of a sledgehammer. And here you're watching a movie like, if y'all easily just did this, it would have been watchable.
Yeah. No, I think that the biggest problem for this film was it was trying to be slick and it didn't need to. It was trying to be shocking and unexpected and it didn't need to. It did not need the twist. And the problem with the twist was it's not a twist because everyone figures it out within like 20 minutes, but it's an hour and a half film, and the actual movie agrees to the twist at about the hour 15-minute mark. So everyone watching the movie is ahead of the wave, and it's hard to enjoy something when you're just waiting for that thing to catch up to you.
But let's say they pulled the twist off. This whole time I think he's the good guy. Then at the end I find out you're a ruthless bastard.
If they had pulled that off,
but how do you fix that? How do you?
Well, if that had actually landed, I think it would have been a more enjoyable.
It would have been terrible because you would have had 10 minutes for this guy to redeem himself.
That's
yeah,
true-ish.
of course. You have to reveal it.
No. Hang on. It's not true. It's not true because for the twist to have actually worked, we would have need to have seen the redemption element of it happening throughout the film. Meaning we needed to actually think he was the good guy.
Right. So I'm saying without changing the movie, if the twist worked,
you needed to change the movie.
You would have to see him be a good guy. And then it's like, it's your guilt.
You needed to see the guy who spent his life trying to make up for the fact that he had killed his brother. So he helps the woman across the street. He works in the community outreach center. Of course, he's helping the kid. You know, maybe he's not actively a superhero anymore. He put the hammer away, but he's finding ways to make society better. That's not what we saw.
Or he's completely down and out and depressed.
Or he's down and out. Sure,
because
there was
an element where he went to the pawn shop and it seemed like he had like a relationship with the owner.
He
did.
Yeah, with one guy, and even like his coworker. Because he knew about, like, he was like, "Oh, we find anything good?" You know, they were trying to plant seeds of that, but they didn't do anything with it. Like, I would have loved that. I would have loved the fact that, yeah, he was a bad guy and he tried, you know, he just wasn't being a superhero anymore, a supervillain anymore. Was just trying to just be a normal person and then just doing good within his community. And like maybe getting like little elements of, a vigilante, stop this, a robbery over here or a mugging over here. And that's him trying to redeem himself. And
but just dealing with the consequences. Like, you have a guy out here who's turning into a mustache twirling villain in your name. Nemesis signs are still sprayed throughout the city. There's people causing destruction because of what you stood for. So how can you be in this city watching it fall apart? Because they're inspired by you. That's the problem. Like, by the end, when he fought the bad guy at the end, and it was so cliche, but there was never that moment of, I made you. Like, I inspired this. This is my fault.
Well, there is a moment where the guy who's taken his mantle does say that, I'm executing your plan. And he says, there was never a plan. There was never a plan.
Yeah.
It was just a trap. Right.
Right. But still, he's doing this because he believed in you. Like, he got Nemesis tattooed on his face.
Yeah. This movie, beat for beat, was like even when the kid says, why are you carrying around broken stuff? And he goes, why are you wearing a broken watch? instantly I go, okay, so now Sylvester
it's his
Stallone
dad.
is going to fix the kid's watch at some point in the movie, and then he's going to be like his surrogate father figure, and they're going to. It's like,
can we talk about how the watch? Because there was no reason, like when Stallone goes to leave town, and then he comes back just in time to save them. There was no reason for him to come back. Oh, I fixed this watch. I'm like the most random, coincidental.
well, but it could have worked. It could have worked if the seeds were actually planted for it to work, and then
But still, to get there just in
pushed.
time is still like.
Can I add some additional trash to this? So he went back after our kid has been kidnapped, right? The mom was there. The mom got smacked up. Stallone walks in and sees the mom just sitting on the floor. I'm like, your son is missing. Your son got kidnapped.
On the kitchen.
And you're just chilling in the kitchen floor? Like, you're a terrible
Call
mother,
the
too.
police.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
mother.
Remember in the 90s, like they never called the police in these movies? They never called the cops.
Wow.
Oh, man.
When they burst into Stallone's house or apartment and
And
just started shooting, like straight
Well,
off the rip.
Well, what were they shooting at? At one point, they were just shooting
Nothing.
the desk.
They were just shooting everything.
I was like, you
It
know what
made
you're
no
looking
sense.
at right now. You're just shooting
All
the
right.
desk.
All right, this movie had problems. Clearly, I tell you what I liked about it.
Wow.
Thank you.
It had texture. It had texture, Jack.
It did. Listen, Sylvester Stallone's great. I like that he was the protagonist in the film, and
He's always the protagonist.
I almost like the relationship dynamic between him and the kid, and
It's hard to watch this as a fanboy, Jack, because even when the kid found out he was Samaritan, I was like, aren't you going to geek out more? You ask him a million questions. How do your powers work? What do you do? Why'd you stop? Why'd you make that costume? What's it made of? Like all the stuff you would ask if you found out your next door neighbor was Superman.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
Why do you have all
Go
this ice
for it.
cream that seems to be a huge
Nothing.
important plot point, and then it just gets ignored?
And instead, what he did, and instead, what the kid did is he went to some random C character who we don't even know at this point to tell him that the Samaritans. And then the next thing he does, he breaks into his house to steal some scrapbook. And all the while, you're sitting here going, "Why haven't you just gone to the guy yet? Why haven't you
just
gone
talk
to
to
the
him."
Samaritan?" Yeah, I was totally lost.
Oh,
I was totally lost.
yeah, because you should have
Totally
you
lost.
should have went to him, and then he denied it over and over, and then that
And
forces
then you
you
go
to
to
break
the
into
yes,
that, all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I'm like,
Can we talk?
What?
Can we talk about though? I was almost on board with this until we got to the bad guys. And
oh,
if y'all don't know what a mustache twirling villain is, this
but
is
every
what-
single one of them.
all of
Did it
them.
feel like RoboCop?
Like
when
when the dude,
did it feel like
yeah,
the bad guys
just-
from
it was
RoboCop?
bad. It's like, why did you steal that little girl's ball? Like, why did you have to steal her ball? This poor girl
because
in
they're
hell
bad.
playing
That's
with a
how-
Because I
tennis
want you
ball.
to know. Because I want the audience to know that this guy is a bad guy.
And he
That
did
guy-
it laughing.
Yeah,
I'm like, this
he
is
was annoying, and the Tekashi 6ix9ine dude was annoying.
Oh man,
They were
this
both
is-
annoying. Just,
They were like late 80s bad guys.
Yes.
Dude, I'm sorry.
If
That
this was
is horrible.
1982,
And
this
the
movie would have
girl-
been great.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the same
This
with
movie-
92.
Well, yeah, that's because
Yeah.
that's because we'd be 10 years old and it would be awesome because we don't have anything to compare it to. We'd be
Would
10
we
years
like-
old.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
We'd like it. We like
man,
I gotta
yeah,
tell you
if
guys-
we were 10 years old, yeah, I probably have been like, yo, this is dope. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't.
I might have still been a little bored.
Because even if I was 10 years old, I'd have still seen Avengers. I put people on
What?
tape for this a year and a half ago. And I've been waiting for this movie. I've known about this movie for over a year and a half, waiting for it to come out. I've really been excited to see Stallone in a superhero flick. And I'm just ultimately very let down by what I watched.
Well, the set looked good.
Yeah, the texture was
Yeah,
great.
there's a lot of
Great
And
texture.
there are moments. I mean, there are moments, and it was nice to see Stallone as a kind of superhero character.
I like how they handled his powers in the first fights. Like his super strength, but it wasn't crazy. The warehouse was just like Guys,
It just
machine
wasn't
guns
consistent.
don't work. Why y'all keep running up on this guy with guns, watching him kill all your friends, and you still gonna run up on him with a gun for 20?
I'm different.
It's not
He's
working.
literally stabbing you with the guns. Like, get out of there. Leave.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm out. I don't get paid enough for this.
Nope.
And I don't know what the bad guy wanted. He wanted just anarchy. He wanted to shut down the power grid and
He's a
just
bootleg
anarchy.
Joker. He's a bootleg Joker. He just wants to see the city burn. He wants the rich people to fall and the poor people to stand up.
He's RoboCop. He's a 1990s, late 80s
No, he
guy.
wanted what he wanted to do was continue the work of his hero, the Nemesis, who died trying to wipe out the power to the city. At least that's what he believed.
But I'm like,
so he wanted to.
But once you do that,
what do you do?
You
And how does knocking out the power to the city actually achieve anything ultimately?
Because
like
people can't go
the
online.
Joker
Okay, you
said
get
it-
looting.
The Joker said it best. He's like a dog chasing a car. Like, once he gets it, he doesn't know what to do with it.
No, that's not this guy. This guy, I'm not giving him that line. Don't give them. No.
No, he's saying the Joker's talking about this guy.
Oh,
Yeah, but he
this,
doesn't deserve.
The Joker's talking about this kind of guy.
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
I'm
This guy is the guy you want to show a magic trick to.
yes. Please don't use a Dark Knight to explain this movie.
No, I had another issue with the grenade. It was like an
So
EMP,
weird.
Black
like
smoke
plasma. Yes,
Yeah,
smoke grenade.
black plasma.
but it also can blow you up with fire. It
Yeah.
also can-
Yeah, and it was also
But
super
also,
strong.
it
was
only
inconsistently
affected.
strong.
It only did the EMP thing. Yeah, it did the EMP thing twice, and the third time it was used, it just blew up the car, or at least that area there. But everyone's phone was still active. Y'all didn't notice that?
Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Everyone that had their phones out, they were just like, "Oh, like wait a minute."
I go back
He just-
to what I was saying. This movie did not pay homage to its own rules. If you're setting up rules in a film, this is screenwriting 101. If you set something up, you have to follow your rules, or the audience is eventually going to you're going to lose their trust. You know, you're going to lose their respect. You're going to lose their trust. You're going to lose their patronage because you can't follow your own damn rules.
And you need to have characters who want something. I didn't know, outside of them telling me this boy was a fanboy of Samaritan, I don't know why he wanted him back. Is he tired of this? Like, I didn't see a kid in this city that wanted out. I didn't see this kid in this city that wanted hope. I didn't see a kid that's crying for a superhero to come save him. I didn't get why it was so important. Specifically
Reasons.
for this kid, not in general. I get it, the idea, but why kid? You have a scrapbook where you're just drawing this guy constantly. What is it that?
But then you make
But he wasn't
bad
doing that
choices.
any more or less than the villain was drawn.
Hmm?
Right. But he wasn't doing that any more or less than like the villain was doing the same with Nemesis.
Right.
You know?
It wasn't specific enough. It wasn't like we said with the villain. You destroy the power grid. What do you want? Who is Nemesis to you for real?
You know what this felt like to me? It felt like it was like the third draft of the script, and they ran out of time to actually work on it and flush it out, figure it out. This script needed maybe 3 to 6 more drafts before it should have went to production.
I don't think they ran out of time. I think they had.
I'm giving them the benefit of my doubt. These guys got pushed. They
me tell you
pushed
something.
the schedule. They run out of time.
Chris, you know business, man. You get money. It's a certain year. You got to spend this money up, or you getting taxed. We got to make a movie this year.
That's
We
it.
got to go into production with something this year, and we don't
That's
care
what I'm
what.
saying.
But we don't care what it is, because even if it's bad, it's
You need
still
that
good
write-off,
for
baby.
business. We give that write off.
Unless you're HBO, and then you're just gonna get rid of it anyway.
Big tax write off. They made money getting rid of that
We spent
girl.
that money, all right? We
Wait,
spent
you
that
think?
money. Let's write it off on that.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
write off. They didn't lose money getting rid of that.
Yeah,
girl.
you write off the
They have to
entire
spend a
value
certain
the
amount of
series.
money that. Yeah, they have to spend a certain amount of money that year to produce anyway, and then it didn't work out. Tax incentives. That's why they're not canceling the $250 million Flash movie,
But they canceled the 90 million Batgirl movie.
because they didn't.
90
write
million is still 90 million.
off. No, it's
It's a
not.
write-off.
No, it's a write off.
Wow.
Business.
All right.
This.
Well, who
this
writes
is-
it off? The write-off people.
Basically, you have a certain amount of money to make your. You have a certain amount of money to spend. You have to spend this money this year. So that's also why the Justice League film, that they were like, no, we got to get this movie out, even though it's whack, because we get bonuses if it comes out this year.
Well, if it's any indication about how we felt about this movie, the fact that we're talking about everything except for the movie,
we're
talking about math. We're talking about taxes.
Well, it might be time to move on.
Yes, this movie, guys, it wasn't even fit for streaming. Like, it wasn't even like, well, it's free.
Oh, that's harsh.
It was like, that's harsh. I was like, this is like Spawn. This is like Steel. This is like, we've evolved.
This would have been great if it came out 30 years ago. That's it.
And I was 10.
Yeah.
This is like.
So should we grade it on a curve?
No.
Hell no. It came out now.
Do not.
No. Yeah.
All right. So where do we rank it? Lawrence.
Me?
Yeah.
I give it a 4.5. The 0.5 is because I love Stallone. Wow. 0.5. But the movie did not have a reason for existing. Like, I don't know why it was made. I don't know what you guys were trying to say about good or evil. I don't know what you're trying to say about redemption. I don't know what you're trying to say about anything. At the end, I don't even know if he goes on to be a hero. Like, what are we walking away from?
Yeah.
Who's changed?
There's a sequel.
But who's changed? Is the boy changed? He's kind of the same.
Nope. Nothing.
Who's changed?
The people who got burned in the
Rich,
fire.
where you at?
What's going on there, guy? You got the head nod and what's changed out here, brother? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 3. It was horrible. The gratuitous gun shooting and the gun violence for no reason that did nothing to anything except put holes in walls and break windows and desks and beds. The horrible child who I don't know what was he trying to like be good but then do bad things. I don't know. And then his best friend, like who was that kid? Who was that guy?
Why are you mad at him?
I'm mad at him because he was a bully in his own way. He was saying that getting a small kid to do all the work and while he just sat on his fat ass, he needed to do some exercise. Okay. The mother who was just a horrible, horrible mother. You took hundreds of dollars from your child with no questions asked.
Well, she just got out of prison.
No.
I mean, she'd been in Orange is the New Black for how many years? She probably just got released.
You know what? I would appreciate if that was the story, but she was a nurse. Okay,
yeah, it's a spin-off.
Nurses be killing it with making money, man. But anyway, yeah, she had no plan, no direction for the family. The kids watch.
Rich, it's the hood. It's the hood.
I don't care. They all got direction. Like, I'm gonna make enough money to get out of here. And then what's the plan? The kid had more sense than her. Then what's the plan? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. That should be the kid's plan, to get enough money to get away and then figure it out. You should have a plan, mother.
I love that it's the morality of this thing.
Listen, I'm not done. Okay,
Keep going, baby.
The story, the powers didn't make sense. Okay, all right. You got two brothers with superpowers. All right, they're just super strong. We'll call them mutants, right? We'll call them mutants for the sake of argument. But now this one particular mutant is able to hone his feelings and put it into a weapon. What? What? So now we're alchemists? Now what are we talking about now? We're mages?
And we're only implying that. We don't know that for sure. We're just implying that.
So why, let me ask you guys this question real quick.
He put his feelings into a hammer.
It happened in the beginning of the movie. So why was it hard to digest it? Because we've seen this stuff happen all the time. It's true. It's like Thor's hammer, only I can pick it up. Why? Because you said so. I agree, fine, we'll move on. So why is this?
But anybody can pick it up.
Because they didn't put any spark or any inkling that their powers are anything more than just them being strong.
But they did.
They didn't break down the powers of what it was they were. They just said they're really strong.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the beginning, he said, "This is what I'm able to do." This is all in the beginning, the first 2 minutes.
That's not what he said. He didn't say that's what he's able to do. They said that's just what he did.
Right. So in the beginning of the movie, they're showing you what they're able to do, what they're capable of.
Well, he only did it once. It's
But
not like they
what's odd
fought.
is-
It's not like they fought with weapons and they made their own weapons with special abilities and stuff like that. This man made one weapon one time to fight his brother, and apparently the only thing that could affect him was that hammer.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Which also isn't true. Just getting hit by a car affects you.
We know
if
if
you
you
can't
Rico
cool
is
off.
Being dropped into fire
Could
can kill
affect
you.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of things that actually hurt you other than the hammer.
This is the only
But
thing.
but there's a difference between here's the movies also had a deficit because the beginning of the film sets up the film from an outsider's point of view of what they think the reality of the two brothers were. But then the film, as it cracks open, doesn't really add insight from the brother's point of view as to the reality of the situation. So we're only really still experiencing it from an unknown narrative.
You know what I experienced?
Yeah.
A 3
A
out
3.
of 5 movie. That's absolute trash.
A 3 out of 5 or a 3 out of 10?
3 out of 10.
10.
3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 movie makes it even worse. That's what I experienced. Okay.
He goes 3 out of 5 to 3 out of 10. It's still 3. Wow, that's a pretty different ratio, though. Chris St. Victor?
I give it a 4. And I feel generous with 4, but only 4 because it brings some nostalgia for 90s superhero movies.
Bad 90s superhero movies.
Mhm.
No one likes Steel. I don't care how old we were.
I don't like Steel.
No one likes Steel, Chris.
It was good. Look, 4. Hard
Fair.
4. That's it.
Yeah, this movie suffered a lot. I think a 3 might be a little harsh. And I think a 4.5 might be a little high.
Only for Stallone, baby.
I'll go with Chris, man. I give the movie a 4. And it's begrudging, man. I really, really wanted to like this film. It was very anticipated. It was on my list of movies I knew I wanted to see this year.
Mm-hmm.
4. So
Yeah.
someone want to do the math on that?
I
3,
got
4,
you.
4, 4.5.
Hold on.
2
hold on.
4s,
Like
a
that.
3.5, and that's a 4.
That's 8 plus
It's
3.
like a 390, 375.
Well, you got to round up. 4. It's 4.
Divided by 4. 3.875.
4.
4.
It's a 4.
All right, so it's a 4.
Yeah, it was a tough one to swallow, but this is the movie we got.
Oh, we're really trying to get canceled. We better wrap this up before we don't have any shows left.
You're right. Well, that is our take on Samaritan. It just needed geeks like us to be in the creative room. We would have made sure those powers and stuff made sense. And screw the twist. Who needs a twist? Redemption's way better than a twist. But that's our
Facts.
show. If you enjoyed it, we got more reviews right here on this channel. Check it out. We got unboxings. We're talking about comic books. Chris has his action figure reviews. Check them out. We also got a podcast. If you want to hear us go into more geeky stuff, talk about our days, we have debates. We have all kinds of stuff. We're also on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Make sure, and please let us know how you felt about this movie. Were we being too harsh? Were we being too generous? Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you like and subscribe. We will see you next time. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Peace.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking